Hey, everybody. Welcome to So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
Welcome to the show. It's like April, basically,
It's pretty much April.
which is
If
what
you're
the
listening
heck,
to this in
man.
real time along with us,
It's spring, and the movies are heating up, I think we're going to end up talking a lot about Project Hail Mary in this one.
Yeah.
But things are heating up,
The
You were
previews
just-
for Project Hail Mary look real good.
They've been
so
good,
there's a lot
yeah.
of good stuff coming out.
There is. The previews in front of that movie look good. We were just talking off mic about Ready or Not 2. People have been looking forward to that. That just came out. The Mario sequel is coming out in a week or two. People are hyped about that. Kids are hyped about that. Everybody's asking, what is Donald Glover going to say as Yoshi? Everyone's asking this.
Everyone's asking that question. Will he have a rap sequence? Will Yoshi just be, will he be childish Scam Yoshi? Who knows?
Yeah, huge year for movies coming up. So we're going to talk about some of what we've been watching here lately. But you know what? We were talking a little bit off mic about Garrett's book club, and I think he should share the update, or Garrett's book corner.
Yeah.
I think you should share, because you've started reading this book about the movie world.
Yeah. So
I wanted to hear a little bit about it.
We're going into our new theme. It's Golden Oldies. I was going around trying to find some movie-based books that'd be interesting and not just like movies or books that were turned into movies. So at our local library, which I recommend you go check yours out, there's a book called The Last Kings of Hollywood, The Battle for the Soul of American Cinema, something like that, by Peter Fisher. Don't trust me. Google it. But it looks at, and I haven't finished it yet, but it takes a look at Francis Ford Coppola, George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg. And so far, I'm in the early days of how they broke into becoming the massive film directors that they are. And this book starts in a time frame where we're about to travel into, which is the golden oldies of Hollywood. It's called Old Hollywood, right? So Hollywood used to look a lot different than it did now. Studios owned everything. They had like actors on long-term contracts. They decided what movies were made. It was kind of just like a factory crank-out situation. Well, after that system eventually toppled, you had studios trying to figure out what to do next. And that's when enter Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Francis Ford Coppola, these people who were trying something different. And in studios were like, all right, we'll give them a go. We'll give them a chance and see how it works. And so I'm really intrigued to see where this goes. And I think it really connects to what we're about to go into, because right now we're in the 60s in the book. The first movie that we're doing for Golden Oldies is going to be The Odd Couple in 1968. And that is in a similar time where the Hollywood studios still hadn't fully transitioned to blockbuster style. They still don't fully know what they're doing, and TVs had come into the home. And so that changed everything. Movie attendance plummeted because people were like, I've got TV. Why do I need to leave? And it's very similar also to a time that we're in now that you mentioned, Josh, where streaming devices have not only overtaken your TV, but your movie attendance is starting to plummet again. But as it's slowly coming back with the younger generation. So it's just very interesting where this book is and where we're about to go. And if you're a big fan of cinema, I think you should get into it, because I've already learned that I had no idea that Lucas and Coppola were like buddy. Like, what? I should probably know that, considering we have a podcast like this, but you learn something new.
That's what this podcast is, expanding horizons. We're trying to learn new things every episode.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah, that sounds fun. I haven't read a book about Hollywood in a while. Not probably since I read that there's a book about 1999, the greatest year in movies. I read that a few years back. That was good.
I don't
might
know.
add that to my list.
I don't know when this came out, but the downside of libraries is you've got to return it. So I haven't had a chance to completely finish it yet, but it's like next in my queue. So I'm hoping it comes back soon so I can do a catch up as we go through our Golden Oldies theme.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I was just debating mentally in my head if we wanted to talk more about the golden oldies theme. Um,
We can let people know we've got a couple lined up. So we're starting with The Odd Couple,
Mhm.
yeah,
which is
Which
19. Yeah.
admittedly is gonna be post, uh, old Hollywood,
it's
but
the cusp of golden oldies for sure.
if I
Yeah.
think it I think I can twist this into working with the theme because you're talking about the advent of the television in the home, and The Odd Couple is probably one of the greatest examples of a property translating across multiple mediums and becoming this staple of not just of great, it was a major film, and we'll talk about that in this week's episode, but became a major TV show. In fact, became a major TV show 3 times. Had an animated adaptation, had revised versions of the play. Like there's a
It's just the
the
Flintstones.
yeah. I mean, it's a show, it's a film that kind of expresses what you're talking about, which is like how Hollywood adapted to the TV era. So probably be a maybe we should end it with that one, but it works. I think we can talk about its legacy, and then we can journey further back into time with the oldies as we go.
And mine is super old, little older than that. It is a very golden oldie,
Hmm.
going back to 1940 with The Grapes of Wrath.
John
It's
Ford,
got
yeah.
Henry Fonda in it, and we
Hmm.
checked him out in our earlier movies for what was it, 12 Angry Men?
Yes, 12
Yeah,
Angry Men. I joked a few weeks ago when you told me that that was what you wanted, that we actually have a stealth theme this month, which is we're just following Angry Men because
yeah,
John Fiedler, who plays Vinny in The Odd Couple, was also in 12 Angry Men as juror number two. So we've got
yeah.
two jurors that we've followed out. So maybe
6 degrees of 12 Angry
Angry
Men.
Men, yeah. Josh, I mean,
So
we got
Josh, that's your subtle.
you got 11 more to pick or
I'm
no,
gonna
you got
try to
10
not
more to pick from.
I'm gonna try to not let that influence me and not even look at the
You
cast
shouldn't. You shouldn't.
crossover there. I'll tell you, I'm looking at the library of Audrey Hepburn right now. That's kind of where I'm
Mm,
circling. So
I think
we
that's
will
a good one to go
see.
with.
Very nice.
She's got a lot of golden oldies.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
again, I don't know if there's any. I'm sure there's got to be a 12 Angry Man crossed over in there somewhere, but I'm
Surely
not gonna
somewhere.
let
Maybe.
that. I'm not gonna let that seep into my decision making. No,
Yeah.
undecided. I could
Sure.
go. I could veer away from Audrey, but right now that's where
My
I'm
only
circling.
my only request, and you can veto this is your decision. You have full power. Just don't do breakfast at Tiffany's. That's my only. That's my
Sure.
only.
Why
It's
is
just.
that though? You got to explain why if you're gonna request that.
There's nothing against
'Cause it's the
breakfast
one
at
thing we've
Tiffany's,
got.
but deep blue something, man. Leave them alone. Um, I feel like it's an easy one,
It
and
is,
I
yeah.
feel like I don't want to talk about racist Mickey Rooney.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That scene's not great.
No, it's true.
Well,
That
look, you
scene's
want
real
to,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
So, but I've got some recommendations. Charade. You should check out Charade. This is a
Okay,
good one.
I'll add that to my list of
And and
considerations.
and well, I don't know when it came out, but there's another one. I'll send it to you off mic. I can't remember the
Okay,
name of it right now.
okay, exciting. Well, so there's plenty to look forward to with Golden Oldies Month in April. Feels like a spring theme, right? I guess.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think so.
it's kind of our last theme before we really get into our own blockbuster season here.
True.
As we get closer to May and June and July and all that.
Yeah, that is true. All right, well, let's shift gears here and talk about
A
we
big blockbuster movie.
a
Oh,
big blockbuster movie. No, you're exactly right. We all have been watching several multiple different things, and usually we talk about the laundry list of them. But today we're going to talk about Project Hail Mary because we all caught it at separate times, and we all, I think, really enjoyed it. So I want to I want to talk about it. I want to give it its due, and maybe I don't know. I think it could be still talked about a year from now at certain award shows. I don't know.
It could be.
yeah.
We'll see, and we'll have to see.
I want.
100% technical Oscar
Yeah,
nominations. So, like, for sure, it's going to be in discussion somewhere.
I want to kick it off because I crammed through the book right before going to the movie. I didn't cram through the whole book. I had been reading it and I was trying to finish it on time, and other things kept me up. So um, I had to spend like an hour and a half listening to just a straight audiobook, to finish it in time. But,
Good for you.
yeah, I wanted to start it, and because I read The Martian, before it came out, Andy Weir's, other book that had been turned into a movie with Matt Damon, the Golden Globe Comedy of the Year. We love that joke, right?
Right.
Yes.
Um And so, I wanted to read this one, and I'm glad I did because it gave me a totally different appreciation for the movie, which was that as an just a straight adaptation, which I thought it was really great. Um, not a lot missing, not really much changed. The things that are missing make sense, just to keep it from being a 6-hour movie. Um, but I had a lot of fun with it. I would like you guys both had not read the books at all, so you
No.
came in fresh. What was your take on it? Anyone?
Well, I didn't even I knew of it happening. This wasn't even on my most anticipated for the year. I kind of had heard about. I mean, they've been playing trailers for like since like last September. I feel like so I was aware of it, knew it was coming out, and then just kind of in the lead up in like the last week or two before it came out, I just kind of started to see a lot of good word of mouth about it, and I thought, I really want to give this a try. My wife and I, we got the kids, so we had to do like a writer swap situation where I went and then I came home and then she went. And I absolutely loved it. I think this is so far it's my movie of the year. Granted, it's a list of like 6 movies, but it is a it's a movie that starts off just like it starts off interesting. Then it gets fun, then it gets perilous, and then it gets like it ties it all in by being like just really sweet and hopeful. And it's the exact type of I mean, it's why we have the movies, I feel like. It's that type of film. It's a movie that like, I remember being in college and talking about theater versus film, and film being this thing it like reinforces what you want to believe, and versus some other art forms that try to challenge what you are expected to believe. But this, I mean, that's what this was. It made me feel hopeful. It made me feel right, and it proved beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you had any question, that Ryan Gosling is a certified movie star and a
Who
certified
was
leading
doubting
man.
that?
I'm just saying, if they well,
I think we knew that.
one of the sad things is I remember saying all this during the bomb that was The Fall Guy when I was like, Ryan Gosling's great, and why is this movie not doing better? It's like it's Memorial Day weekend. It's Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. These are two widely liked actors. Why isn't this film doing better? So here we are, and it proves that Ryan Gosling even has chemistry with a rock. Like he is like one of the best out there. I'm hopeful that like yeah, it continues to have a good word of mouth for the rest of the year and maybe can hold on and be of note next year for the Academy Awards. But I'll hold out and we'll see if that actually happens or not. There's a lot of big heavy hitters coming up this year, so we'll have
There
to see
are,
where it
but
ends up.
it's gonna be a smash. I think that this has got a lot of appeal across genres. This is like, again, what I feel like we're
Genres,
missing in
ages.
general is just family genre movies, right?
Mm,
Like this has got a lot of depth. This has got a lot of like this has got a lot to it, and it's long, so it's not anything that you might take your kids to, but it has the ability to keep their attention. It's got space, it's got explosions, it's got action, it's got a rock that's funny.
mhm.
It's got these moments that can be very humorous and you get a lot out of it. And I feel like this is one that you can go see with your parents, with your kids of a certain age. Again, once they're able to see and understand some ideas of this, they'd probably appreciate it more and get a little less bored. Like David, I bet Jack wouldn't sit there for this whole movie,
Probably
but
not. He barely made it through Spider-Man the other day.
yeah. So I think that there's something here for everyone. And again, it would be such a disservice to not see this on the biggest screen that you could. I went to see it in an IMAX, and I don't love our IMAX here. The seats suck. But I went, and because I was like, this looks like one that I want to see. And I want to do it while I have the chance. So get out there and do it. I think that it's an adapted property, right? So I mean, we're going to see it. I think that it has a chance to be again. If we're going to think about it, Josh, you mentioned its adaptation ability from the book. I think it's got a chance to be there. I think technically speaking, it's going to be great. And again, I think that this might sound silly, but I feel like there's a chance that Gosling could get considered for an acting nomination. Again, he's basically by himself in a rock.
He's just Ken.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be great if the guy who played Rocky got a best supporting actor? But
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting
Where's the
to wait
best
and see.
supporting puppeteer category?
Honestly, we that's gonna have to be for the so many sequel awards. We will have to hand out
Puppet of the year? Yeah.
best
Best of
non
practical
live
effects.
action performance or something like that.
Ooh.
We'll have to come
Mark
up
this
with some
clip.
kind of better way to put that. But yeah, what a fantastic movie, and it's I mean we're not alone. The movie has a super high ratings from both critics and audiences. It was the ninth highest opening weekend for a film opening in March. Look at that, made 80 million opening weekend, and you just don't see a lot of like big movies come out. Not often you see a big movie come out in March. We do have some others ahead of it that have come out in recent years, but like it's a hit, and so I'll be really interested to see how it lasts. I can't wait to get it here at home for uh, for the collection.
You guys like Rocky? What'd you think of Rocky the Puppet?
It was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead, Garrett.
I was just going to say, anytime that you can take something like a rock and again, give it a purpose and give it a reasoning, it's not, Rocky's not just a rock, Rocky's got
He's a
a
boy.
life and
Just
you
a
get to
boy.
learn about it. And the depth of this story is being able to not even question that in the moment. At no point in time was I like, he's talking to a rock. I did not ever have that thought.
No, I
Mhm.
mean, it's such a fantastical, um, but very also at the same time very I don't know what's the right word. Very grounded, but at the same time fantastical approach to an alien being, where it's all based in real, theoretical but real science. And they're not like us. It's like it couldn't be further from a human being. And so like there's a risk too you run with a guy with a character that's small like that there's sort of like a pet attachment that you kind of have, but we get to learn more about the character. He's not just a goofy little alien. It's not just like an ET situation. There's a little bit of depth there. He talks about his relationships and he talks about
Yeah.
his life. It's
He's
great.
smart. He understands science. He's also an astronaut, just like
Yeah.
Grace is. Like he's also on a mission to do the same exact thing.
And
Like they have a common goal that I don't know. It's an interesting first contact story to me in that way.
yeah,
And the book, like if you guys ever decide to read the book, that's this kind of stuff where it goes deeper, where Grace does have a little more like of a, oh my God, this is I am making first contact and possibly no one will ever
mhm.
know kind of situation, which is just fascinating to think about and read about. Yeah, it's yeah, I loved Rocky. He's probably the best. No, he's the best alien character I feel like to come along in a minute from an
He's the
original
best
movie like
side
this.
character since Wilson. I'm gonna call it. I think that
Mhm.
Rocky's gonna have a Wilson level
Dang.
run. Yeah. I think he's
Dang.
gonna be a volleyball level smash.
I did see, I think it's Cinemark maybe or Regal. One of the things, one of their merch they're selling is it's a shoulder Rocky, and you
Mhm.
like put a
Oh,
magnet under your sleeve, and he'll sit magnetized on your sleeve on your shoulder like that.
Yeah. I've seen
crazy.
some
It's kind of cool.
Rocky plushes and
Yeah,
things like that. And
the Rocky
um,
popcorn bucket is
yeah.
his his little chamber thing.
Underside?
His
Mhm.
ball. No, no, it's not that.
Oh,
It's
okay.
his ball
Oh yeah, okay. His little
that
roll
he's
around
inside,
ball.
and you fill it with his xenonite
Got you.
ball.
Yeah, but I mean also too, like if I had one so I gave this movie 4.5 stars. I don't know about you guys. If I had one complaint on my first watch through, it kind of felt like the movie reached like several points where I was content with it ending, and then it like was like, no, we're gonna do one more
Hmm.
thing. And I think
Interesting.
it's possible that on a second watch I won't care about that as much because then I'll have the expectation. But they found ways to make this relationship between these two like it's really heartfelt. I cared. I was scared for everyone's life. And when a movie can get to that point of making me actually scared that any of these characters will die, I know it's a hit. So it's great. And it also looks amazing. Just throw that one out there too.
Yes, yeah, I caught it in Dolby, and it opened with a little like behind the scenes thing.
Mm,
about the Dolby special effects. So that was really cool. Yeah, visually, it's one of the best space movies to come out. I don't know,
quite a while.
since the last good Star War, perhaps. I don't know. Um, I don't know. There's not. What was the last good space movie?
I mean, are you counting the Dunes in that? Are
Not
they space
not
movies?
really. Like no, I mean like where it's mostly set in space or like a spaceship type situation.
Um, I mean,
Um,
everybody's been comparing it to Interstellar,
I
which
don't
is
like that
probably
as much,
considered
but
like
that is a
the best.
space movie. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's 10 years ago, over
it's
10 years ago.
completely
Um,
different, deeper.
it is very different, but I mean that's I think by many considered like to be like the most recent great space film. So and this is a very different type of movie, but it still hits the I mean it hits the hallmarks of what you want in a good outer space movie.
Yeah, that is true. All right, that's Project Hail Mary. It's out in theaters now. Go see it if you would like to. I think you should if you're looking for a fun movie to watch this spring. It's the one that's out there. Go check it out. Just one piece of news I wanted to talk about because it made me double take when I saw it, but it makes so much sense. You know, they're firing back up the Lord of the Rings machine. We know this. They've been doing that show on Prime.
Mhm.
I forgot. They also are working on some Gollum movie.
Yeah.
I think that like it's all but been confirmed that Elijah Wood and Ian McKellen are returning to that. And then I see this Warner Brothers has revealed that Stephen Colbert and his son are developing a brand new Lord of the Rings movie.
Well, that might get canceled eventually.
Well, let's assume it will not.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll
Let's
assume the
keep the
best.
merger out of this conversation because yeah, you're right. Anything could get canceled at that point. Let's assume they'll go forward with it.
Hmm.
Um, you know, Stephen Colbert is if you're a fan of his at all or know much about him, he's almost as well known as a Lord of the Rings fan as anything else.
Yeah.
He's gone viral multiple times, just like spewing his encyclopedic knowledge on it. So hearing that he's writing a movie or his own adaptation of the Lord of the Rings, which his level of geekdom in it is deeper than I could ever imagine. But it's my understanding is that it focuses on 6 chapters in the Fellowship of the Ring that are not in the Fellowship of the Ring movie.
Interesting.
Huh. You know, I've not read the books, unfortunately. And so I have no idea what those could be. However, I feel like this has got a lot of interesting opportunity to it because at this point in time, Lord of the Rings has pretty giant crossover where you don't have to be a deep fan to enjoy it. You can be a casual fan and figure out if you like it. Colbert right now is super in the mind of the news and the culture, and I think that to David's point, the merger of this, seeing, Paramount in line to have Warner Brothers after they canceled his show, after all of this, how that situation could play out. So I think there are a lot of strings that could come from this. Or they have this announcement and then it just kind of fizzles out and everybody forgets. I think those are the two ways that it could go. It's either
Mhm.
going to be like a smash with some drama tied to it or just kind of fizzle away.
Yeah. And then kind of just speaking broadly, The Lord of the Rings as an idea, as a property, has, I think, really struggled under the weight of the acclaim that those first three films that Peter Jackson made, like it struggles under it. Like whether it's the Rings of Power, which you may love, you may not love, but like it's hard to argue that like the expectation for anything Lord of the Rings related is incredibly high. And part of that is because the books are so well beloved, but also because those films are kind of considered definitive, iterations. And it's hard to believe that there could be 6 chapters that they didn't even include, if with how
Yeah.
monumentally in depth they are. But
And with the extended cuts,
with
damn.
the extended cut step, I believe that there could be, who knows, hundreds of pages that they glossed over. It's hard to believe. But even now, I mean, like the major part of this is that it's still going to be in Peter Jackson's, iteration of this. Like Peter Jackson's still involved, and I think The Hunt for Gollum, like you said, still involved. It's like this franchise, or if you want to think about it as a franchise, I don't know how it grows beyond what Peter Jackson did. If you can ever redo this, see, or do this again and try to capture the same excitement. Whereas, certain film series they reboot, they try over, they try again. If you're adapting like Spider-Man, you can be like, hey, we're resetting, and we're taking our inspiration from a different point in the 70, 80 years of Spider-Man. The Lord of the Rings, like they're constrained to that one book, but they seem to be even more constrained to the film series. I'm kind of fascinated to see how they continue to try to keep this alive, because like it didn't work with the Hobbit films. Like they were not able to live up to
Yeah,
that
but those were
standard.
bad.
It has Well, that's what I'm saying is like the
You
Hobbit
can't
films
take one
had
book and make it 3 movies. That's dumb.
they
That was
couldn't
its
keep
ultimate sin. Yeah.
they couldn't keep that in
That's the
line,
shortest
and they
book too.
Mhm.
and it's actually my
My
favorite
favorite.
of the things. So, it was one of the things that like I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but like that couldn't hold up to the standard. And the Rings of the Power to for certain people hasn't held up to that standard. There's various Lord of the Rings video games and stuff that can't hold up. So I'd be really interested to see bringing in Colbert, a big time fan, bringing in other people to work on this Hunt for Gollum thing. How does it work out?
His Nepo baby son. You gotta
He's a
call it like you see it. Why is
Is
his
that who's
he's a
son
making
big
the
doing it?
Hunt for
LOTR.
Gollum?
They're
This
both big LOTR nerds.
That's got to be it. So the Hunt for Gollum
Said
is the
with
next
respect.
film. This is working under the title Lord of the Rings: Shadows of the Past.
Okay.
I was just looking for the quote real
I'm
quick.
interested. I'm interested. Also, I
Colbert
don't know Stephen Colbert.
said,
Does he have any other movie writing credits to his name?
"No, this would be his first foray into blockbuster." This Variety article notes. He said, "The thing I found myself reading over and over again were the 6 chapters early on in the Fellowship of the Ring that y'all never developed into the first movie back in the day. It's basically the chapter 3 is Company, chapter 3 through Fog on the Barrow Downs, chapter 8." And I thought, oh, wait, maybe that could be its own story that could fit into the larger story. Could we make something
I
that was
mean,
completely faithful to the books while also being faithful to the movies?
I'm interested. Did they have Elijah Wood and all them hanging out, like recast them in these same roles?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
We haven't gotten that far.
We got that technology. Elijah Wood looks exactly the same, so he doesn't need it. But everybody else,
Elijah Wood,
we can turn them back in time.
yeah, Elijah looks
I
the
have to
same.
have to come
He's
up with a
fine.
new name for this type of movie where it's set within the film. It's a chunk of a previous film. It's
I
not a
like the
sequel.
idea.
It's a
It's a branch.
It's a
it's a
deleted scene,
it's an equal.
an equal. I don't like that.
It takes place within the
Equal.
film. It takes place within a existing film.
All right. Let's move into the box office of the weekend. David, how's things cooking? How's
Hey,
Project Hail Mary cooking?
I was gonna say we talked about Project Hail Mary. Great second weekend. Only a 30% drop, 54 million in its second weekend after an $80 million open last week. Hoppers also doing pretty well for Pixar film, up over 200 million now for its worldwide, bringing 12.2 million in weekend two. Got to see that with my son, um, and he liked it for the most part. He just has a hard time sitting still.
I
And
would like to
then
see it, I
he
think.
just
Don't we
like
all?
to jump. And then we have They Will Kill You. Josh, you got to see this screen unseen, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Brings in 5 million.
Crazy
So solid
movie.
for that. Starring what is it? Zazie Beetz.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
She is great. And Patricia
And
Arquette, good cast. Tom Felton, fun people.
I haven't looked into this one. I believe this is a Bollywood film. Uh, d- I'm not gonna
Oh,
try
yeah,
it. The
yeah, yeah.
Revenge. That's what it's
Yep.
called. 4.8 million it brought in. I don't want to botch that. And then you guys saw him last year. We have reminders of him this year with
I bet those
4.7
are
No.
not
million.
connected.
That's
Same
the
guy, though.
sequel.
Isn't it the same
Marlon
guy?
Wayans?
I know. I think one of the guys is in that too.
Yeah. I think the
Marlon
main
Wayans?
guy, not that main guy.
And then
Sweet.
that's it. I think opening next. What do we have opening next week?
I don't know.
But that's your wrap up for this week, and we got more great movies coming up soon.
Sweet. Yep. Stick around for the start of our Golden Oldies month here in April. excited about that. We've got The Odd Couple and Grapes of Wrath coming up, plus more to watch and talk about. So be sure you subscribe to the show on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you get podcasts at. You can go to so manysequels.com and find those links and follow us on Instagram at so many sequels pod. Let us know what you're watching. We would love to hear. We will see you guys next time. Bye.